Yeah,
I think I know what it was, but
I'm just going to
so
make
we all
one
know.
comment just based on the public comment piece, and I appreciate the concerns. And unfortunately, it did make the papers. Any responses from anyone on the dais came afterwards, unfortunately. So that is unfortunate. The people have been knocking on my door and calling me, people I know in my neighborhood, people like yourselves. I've been telling them this. We're going to present a budget. The county's presenting a budget for the Sheriff's Department, whether it's ELED, all the above, that guarantees every position is filled. The Sheriff's budget, as we understand it, cuts 34 positions. Which one do you want? And everyone says, I want the one that funds every position, boots on the ground, and people out there working. And that's the one I'm going to support. Thank you.
Can I?
So with that, Chair, I'm going to make a motion.
Commissioner Schrader?
I've spent, years doing this, and well, Angie is a good friend. I love you. I'm sorry that and all of you, we are in this position, but it happens because that's what happens when people are in leadership positions, and we have to make these difficult conversations and decisions. I want to echo a little bit what Paul said, because I think the ultimate solution is going to be this. I think we should move ahead with this today. I'm ready to do it. Tough choice. It's the way it's just got to do it. But what I'm really seeing longer term is that our two groups of finance people really need to integrate together and have deeper conversations, or we're going to be in Groundhog Day. And I've been here a while, and I know what Groundhog Day feels like, and this is like one of the biggest Groundhog Days I've had, because I've had to do sheriff's budgets since 2003. So what I would like to ask or suggest to people is to have the commitment, because we're like you, we're just trying to do the best we can with what we've got. And this county has a reputation of always supporting law enforcement. You can see the difference here compared to our neighbors up north and other places. You can see the difference in how we don't particularly think Measure 110 was a great idea. So you're not sitting here in front of a group of folks that's not anti-law enforcement. It's just trying to figure out the best way to budget, the best way to streamline, the best way, I think, to bring it into the 21st century. And if you're just going to have to work together, so as a commissioner, that would be to Angie and my friends in law enforcement, and to my friends in finance, and to my friend, the administrator, and colleagues. Please, can't you just get together so we're all on the same page with this? I'm sorry it didn't happen this time, but I refuse to believe that it won't happen. I believe it will happen. We just have to have the will to do so and stop talking past one another. So I've waxed eloquent. I've been quiet most of the time. So that's it. That's all I've got to say today.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Schrader. Commissioner Schultz.
Yes, one quick comment. The difficulty we're experiencing today results from this board's dedication to law and order 24/7, 365. When we voted to do the courthouse, it was not an easy vote, but we did it to enhance law enforcement in the processing of law and order in this county. There's never been one breath on this board about defunding or degrading the effectiveness of the sheriff's office. We all know the importance of a well-funded police department and sheriff's department. If you think this is tough, once we get a few years down the road and we get this behind us and we start smoothing out on this budget that's been affected by the courthouse, another major civic project will come up, and it's going to be just as hard, and that's going to be a new jail. It will happen, and when it does, the board that's sitting here will suffer the same kind of headaches that we have suffered on the courthouse. So once again, Clackamas County is about law and order 24/7, 365, and that's one of my primary core values. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Scholl. Commissioner West.
Thank you. Yeah, as a new guy, this has been a tough process, especially being someone who is legitimately passionate about the work that the men and women do to keep us safe every single day. I have never heard one whisper of this board to ever come anywhere close to defunding any FTE, not fully funding what the Sheriff's Department needs, making it top priority number one. It's one of the proudest and shining stars of Clackamas County is supporting our law enforcement. And I'm proud that this board made every attempt behind the scenes to communicate clearly and discreetly what had happened. We never leaked to the media. We never threatened one FTE. We never made anybody feel like their job was hanging in the balance. We waited until the only comments that came out was just before this meeting because we felt like there was a misrepresentation of the character and the promise of the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners. I love our law enforcement department. I am so proud of the rank and file. And I make a promise to you today, and I probably everybody else on this dais would agree, every FTE will be funded regardless. We will find a path to make sure that those funds are available and that and that our law enforcement has the resources they need. I do vehemently disagree with the communications coming out of Sheriff Brandenburg's office. That's called being elected and working it out, and sometimes it gets a little heated. That's called democracy and a representative republic. But I want to let you know that I'm going to support the hard work and the clear leadership of Sandra Montoya, Elizabeth Comfort, and our finance team, because they have proven to be steadfast and clear in their communications in a way that has brought us through a very difficult budget cycle. And I trust the work of that department. And at the same time, I'm proud of our continued support of every officer in the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith.
Yes, thank you very much. So our finance team has found an extra $1 million that a revenue that wasn't counted. I would think the Sheriff's Office would be happy about that. Our administrator has given the Sheriff's Office an additional $1.5 million subsidy and allocated cost to the budget. You would think the sheriff would be happy about that. Today, our administrator has given his personal guarantee. If revenues come in short, our general fund would make up for that. That's how confident we are of this budget, people. And let me tell you something else. I have some numbers, and it's on OpenGov. So the entire general fund budget that we get at Clackamas County is $155 million. You might want to write this down, or I have extra copies. General fund pays for public safety. Out of that $155 million, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office gets $74 million. The Community Corrections Department is now under the Sheriff's Department. Disaster Management, $3.65 million. The District Attorney, $14 million. The Juvenile Department, $9.7 million. And Resolution Services is $629,000 for a total of $102 million from $155 million general fund that this Board of County Commissioners has directed to support public safety in this county. And yes, our crime rate is less because we have funded this. And we make a promise here today that we support the boots on the ground and all the efforts to keep our northern border safe from the Portland creep coming into this county and trying to do what they did to Portland. We will not tolerate that. And I have to say, working with the sheriff's office and her rank and file and her patrol and her investigation and her jail people are some of the finest people I've ever known. And we are dedicated to funding that. Thank you very much.